Have you ever paused for a moment and wondered how your life could have been different if you had known one small truth earlier? I want to share something very personal today, something I wish I had known before turning 70, a lesson that has transformed not just my health, but my happiness and the way I experience every single day. You see, when we reach our 60s and beyond, life starts to feel different. Maybe your energy isn't what it used to be, or perhaps your body creaks and groans in ways it never did before. For many of us, it can feel like life is slipping by faster than we can keep up with. I remember looking back at my 50s and 60s and realizing I had been so caught up in routines, responsibilities, and worries that I forgot the most important part, taking care of myself, mind, body, and soul. Before I hit 70, I didn't fully understand the power of small, intentional choices every single day. I thought health and happiness were things that just happened, or that I had to wait for a miracle moment to feel alive again. But then, slowly, I started noticing that the people around me who seemed vibrant and joyful weren't necessarily luckier. They were simply making consistent, mindful choices that supported their well-being. The first thing I wish I had known is how critical it is to prioritize movement and physical activity, not as a chore or an obligation, but as a gift to yourself. I used to think that walking a few steps around the house or stretching for 10 minutes didn't matter much. I was wrong. Our bodies need movement, especially as we age. Gentle walks, light strength exercises, yoga, or even simple stretching can make a world of difference in energy levels, balance, and even mood. When I started walking every morning, just 15 minutes at first, I noticed that my body felt lighter, my mind clearer, and my outlook on the day instantly brighter. It wasn't about exercising harder or pushing myself beyond limits. It was about showing up for myself consistently. Alongside movement, I learned that what we eat plays a role far beyond just weight or cholesterol numbers. Before 70, I had a habit of grabbing quick meals, processed foods, and sugar-laden snacks because it was convenient. It wasn't until I gradually introduced more whole foods, fresh vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, and healthy fats that I truly felt the change. I could think more clearly, my digestion improved, and even small aches that used to bother me daily started to fade. What I wish I'd known earlier is that food is not just fuel, it's a powerful way to nurture your body and protect it for the decades ahead. Sleep, something so often overlooked, is another piece of the puzzle I wish I had understood sooner. I used to sacrifice sleep thinking it would give me more time to get things done, but in reality, my body and mind were paying the price. Quality sleep restores energy, strengthens the immune system, and keeps our memory sharp. Once I started treating sleep as non-negotiable, my days felt more productive, my mood more stable, and even my ability to handle stress improved. Along with movement, nutrition, and sleep, I wish I had embraced the power of mindset and mental well-being earlier. I spent too many years focusing on problems, regrets, and comparisons with others, and it took a toll on my happiness. Learning to practice gratitude, mindfulness, and self-compassion completely shifted my perspective. I realized that happiness is less about circumstances and more about how we choose to respond to them. Even small daily practices, like jotting down a few things I'm thankful for or taking a moment to breathe deeply, have had a profound impact on my overall well-being. What struck me most is that these elements, movement, nutrition, sleep, and mindset, are all interconnected. When I started moving more, I slept better. When I nourished my body, my energy and mental clarity increased. When I practiced gratitude and mindfulness, stress melted away more quickly. And when all of these pieces came together, I noticed something remarkable. I felt healthier and more alive than I had in decades. And here's the lesson I wish I had known before turning 70. There isn't a single magic pill, exercise, or diet that will transform your life overnight. What truly matters is consistency and intentionality. Small, mindful choices made every day build up over time, creating a ripple effect that impacts every aspect of your life. It's never too late to start. Even if you've neglected your health or happiness for years, each day is a chance to take one small action that will lead to a bigger transformation down the road. So, let's start exploring the first few steps you can take to embrace this mindset and create meaningful change in your life. One of the first habits I adopted, and the one that gave me the biggest boost in both energy and confidence, was creating a morning routine that prioritized my well-being before anything else. It wasn't about complicated rituals or expensive products. It was about simple, nourishing practices that set the tone for my day. I began with gentle stretching, a glass of water, and a few moments of deep breathing, all before checking emails or answering the phone. This small change made me feel grounded, focused, and ready to approach the day with positivity. Next, I focused on moving my body daily, not as a punishment or task, but as a celebration of what it could do. Even on days when I didn't feel motivated, I reminded myself that a short walk or a few minutes of gentle exercise was better than nothing. Over time, these small actions compounded, leading to better balance, stronger muscles, and even a lighter step that surprised me at my age. Finally, I started paying close attention to what I put into my body. I didn't go on a restrictive diet or eliminate everything I loved, but I began prioritizing fresh foods, lean proteins, and hydration. I learned to listen to my body, noticing how certain foods made me feel sluggish or energized. This mindful approach helped me feel empowered rather than restricted, and it gave me a new sense of control over my health. And as these changes started to take root, I realized something powerful. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish, it's essential. When you invest in your health, energy, and happiness, you create a foundation that allows you to fully enjoy your life, connect with loved ones, and embrace new opportunities without being held back by fatigue or regret. Now that we've explored the importance of morning routines, daily movement, and mindful nutrition, the next step is to look at how mental and emotional habits can further enhance your health and happiness. By addressing both body and mind, you can truly transform the way you experience life in your 70s and beyond. And feel that these insights are meaningful. Please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so, and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to uplift, inform, and inspire. Your support truly means a lot. It's what keeps us going and allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, helpful content just for you. Now, let's continue this journey together. As we continue exploring the lessons I wish I had known before turning 70, let's talk about something just as important as movement and nutrition: your mindset and emotional well-being. You see, it's easy to focus solely on physical health as we age, but the truth is, the way we think and feel shapes everything: our energy, our relationships, even our longevity. One of the biggest shifts for me came when I realized how much time I had spent worrying about things I couldn't control. I used to dwell on minor inconveniences, past mistakes, and the little frustrations of daily life. It felt natural at the time, but looking back, I can see how draining it was. Constant complaining and overthinking stole joy, energy, and even my ability to fully appreciate the present. I wish I had known earlier that letting go of unnecessary mental burdens is just as crucial as letting go of physical tension in the body. I started with something small. Every morning, I would take a few minutes to reflect on things I was grateful for. It could be as simple as the sunlight streaming through my window, a warm cup of tea, or a phone call with a friend. This small practice shifted my mindset from scarcity and stress to appreciation and abundance. Gradually, I noticed that my stress levels decreased, my patience increased, and I was more present during my day-to-day activities. The mind is incredibly powerful, and when nurtured, it can transform your experience of life in ways that medicine alone cannot. Another lesson I wish I had learned sooner is the power of letting go of resentment and grudges. I had spent decades carrying small grievances, arguments with family, disagreements with friends, and even self-criticism for choices I regretted. All of that accumulated like weight on my shoulders, quietly affecting my mood and even my health. Forgiveness isn't always easy, and it doesn't mean forgetting or excusing bad behavior. It simply means freeing yourself from the grip of negative emotions. Once I began letting go, I felt a profound sense of lightness and freedom I hadn't experienced in years. Alongside mindset, I discovered that social connections are essential for happiness and health, especially as we grow older. Loneliness can sneak up slowly, sometimes without us realizing it, but it has real consequences on both physical and mental well-being. I made a conscious effort to reach out to friends, family, and community groups. Even small interactions, sharing a story over tea, helping a neighbor, or attending a local club, created a sense of belonging and purpose. Being connected reminded me that life is not meant to be lived in isolation. Humans are social beings, and nurturing relationships feeds the soul in ways that exercise, diet, and sleep cannot replace. One practice that has helped me immensely is embracing curiosity and lifelong learning. Before 70, I had thought of learning as something you did only in school or early in your career. But curiosity doesn't have an expiration date. Picking up a new hobby, reading about a subject I knew nothing about, or even learning to use new technology kept my mind sharp and gave me a sense of accomplishment. It reminded me that life is full of opportunities for growth, no matter your age. Of course, life isn't always smooth. Challenges, losses, and unexpected changes are inevitable, especially as we age. But the way we respond to these events makes all the difference. I wish I had known that resilience, the ability to bounce back, is a skill that can be strengthened at any age. Resilience doesn't mean avoiding pain or difficulty, it means approaching challenges with acceptance, flexibility, and hope. Over time, I learned that setbacks became less overwhelming because I had practiced managing my emotions, maintaining perspective, and staying engaged with life. Alongside resilience, I began practicing mindful presence, truly noticing the world around me without judgment or distraction. This could be listening to birds in the morning, savoring the taste of a meal, or feeling the breeze on my face during a walk. Mindfulness taught me to slow down, to appreciate small joys, and to recognize that happiness often exists in ordinary moments we tend to overlook. I wish I had embraced this sooner, because it has made life richer and more meaningful than I could have imagined. Finally, another crucial shift came when I started aligning my daily actions with my values. For many years, I had been operating out of habit, doing things because I felt obligated or because that's how life works. But I realized that living in alignment with my values, whether it was spending quality time with family, nurturing friendships, or contributing to my community, created a deeper sense of purpose. Purpose is a powerful motivator, and it's one of the keys to feeling alive and fulfilled well into our 70s and beyond. These lessons, gratitude, letting go of resentment, nurturing social connections, lifelong learning, resilience, mindfulness, and living with purpose, together created a profound transformation in my life. I started to notice more energy, joy, and clarity, even on days when my body felt tired. I became more patient, more compassionate, and more present with my loved ones. And perhaps most importantly, I realized that happiness isn't something to chase or wait for, it's something we actively cultivate every single day. Now that we've explored how mindset, emotional well-being, and social connections can transform your life, in the next part we'll discuss the final key pieces, the small yet powerful daily habits that can help you thrive physically, mentally, and emotionally, no matter your age. These habits, when combined with everything we've already covered, create a foundation for a truly fulfilling and vibrant life after 70. As we reach the final part of this journey, let's focus on the practical, everyday habits that tie together everything we've discussed so far. By this stage, you've seen how mindset, emotional well-being, and meaningful relationships shape our quality of life, but now it's time to turn those insights into tangible actions, small, consistent steps that make a huge difference over time. One habit I wish I had embraced sooner is consistent movement. And I don't mean pushing yourself to extremes or training for marathons, though if you enjoy that, more power to you. I'm talking about simple, intentional activity, walking in the morning, gentle stretching, or even tending to a garden. Moving your body daily keeps your joints flexible, your muscles strong, and your energy levels stable. What's remarkable is how movement also benefits your mind. A brisk walk outdoors can clear mental clutter, boost mood, and even reduce stress. When I committed to moving daily, it was like flipping a switch. I felt younger, lighter, and more alert, not just physically but mentally too. Nutrition, of course, is another cornerstone of thriving after 70. I wish I had known the power of choosing foods that nourish the body without creating unnecessary stress. This doesn't mean following restrictive diets or obsessing over every calorie. It means prioritizing whole foods, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, healthy proteins, and minimizing processed foods that weigh you down. I started introducing small, manageable changes, a colorful salad for lunch, a handful of nuts instead of chips, or simply drinking more water throughout the day. These small tweaks gave me more energy, improved digestion, and even helped stabilize my mood. Nutrition became less about restriction and more about giving my body what it truly needed. Sleep is another underrated but critical habit. I used to brush off poor sleep as just part of getting older, but the truth is, quality rest is essential for repairing the body, boosting memory, and regulating emotions. I learned to respect my natural rhythms, avoid late-night screens, and create a calming bedtime routine. Even small adjustments, like a warm cup of herbal tea or soft music before bed, made a huge difference. Sleeping well not only rejuvenates your body but also primes your mind for positivity and focus the next day. Another habit I wish I had embraced earlier is intentional social engagement. We talked earlier about the importance of relationships, but putting it into practice daily is where the magic happens. Calling a friend, joining a community group, or even volunteering can create a sense of belonging and purpose. I realized that contributing to others' lives enriched my own in ways I never anticipated. The joy and connection that come from regular, meaningful interactions cannot be overstated. They sustain us emotionally and even physically, reducing stress and boosting resilience. Finally, I want to highlight mindful reflection as a habit that ties all of this together. Each day, I take a few minutes to pause and reflect: what went well today, what challenges arose, and how I responded. This reflection isn't about judgment or self-criticism, it's about awareness and growth. By noticing patterns in my behavior, I can reinforce positive habits and gently correct course when needed. It's also an opportunity to celebrate small wins, which builds momentum and motivation. When I began practicing this regularly, I felt more in control, more purposeful, and more at peace with myself. Now, if you combine these habits, movement, nourishing nutrition, restful sleep, social engagement, and mindful reflection, with the mindset and emotional strategies we discussed earlier, something remarkable happens. Life after 70 doesn't have to be slow, dull, or filled with limitations. Instead, it can be vibrant, fulfilling, and surprisingly joyful. I found myself having more energy than I did in my 50s, more clarity than I did in my 60s, and a deeper appreciation for every day. What I wish I knew before turning 70 is that age is not a barrier, it's an opportunity. Each stage of life brings its own lessons, its own potential for growth, and its own sources of joy. By making intentional choices, nurturing your mind and body, and connecting with others, you can create a life that's not just about longevity but about true vitality. The one thing I wish I had known is this: the power to shape your life, happiness, and health doesn't disappear with age, it's still very much in your hands. I encourage you to take one small step today, no matter how simple. Maybe it's going for a walk, calling an old friend, or simply sitting quietly with a cup of tea and reflecting on something you're grateful for. These small actions compound over time, and before you know it, you'll notice a shift, a lightness, a sense of purpose, and a genuine joy that comes from living intentionally. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my story and the lessons I've learned. If any of these ideas resonated with you, I'd love to hear about your experiences in the comments. Share your thoughts, your habits, or even what you wish you knew at your age. And if you found value in this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel so we can continue exploring ways to live better, healthier, and happier in our golden years. Remember, it's never too late to start anew, to embrace growth, and to create a life that feels vibrant, meaningful, and full of joy. Here's to living your best life at any age, starting today.